Hello guys and welcome to ThousandSunnyReview. I'm a little confused on how to introduce this video. The truth is that I've reread some of the key arcs of the story and summarized the info and the hints Oda Sensei has left us for the ancient weapons and the ancient history of One Piece. I have already made a few videos about the role of Luffy being Uranus. In this video I will express my thoughts based on what I found from the story, and once again I truly believe that Luffy is Uranus. So, in Fishman Island arc we get tons of information about Poseidon. Shirahoshi is Poseidon. Otohime, speaking to her three sons, explained the situation and the ancient legend, but what is truly important in her speech is that someday one man will come to guide Shirahoshi and show her how to correctly use her powers. Another important info comes from one arc flashback. Roger and Oden hear the Sea Kings saying that their two kings will soon be born in around 10 years. And later on Roger asks Charlie and she confirms that Poseidon will be born in 10 years. I have to admit that for a moment I thought that Momonosuke was a part of this ancient weapons thing, but he is not. The Sea Kings told that the second king will be born in a faraway sea, and Momonosuke was already born at the time. Another important thing for the story is that Oden had the voice of all things, as does Momonosuke. Unlike the Poseidon bloodline, in which Neptune only knows a few info of the story and has no other special abilities. But on the same time, there is a special connection. Fishmen can understand the hearts of the fish and communicate with them. Neptune is the only fishman with the ability to communicate with the whales, while Momonosuke is the only person that can command Zunisha. Also important is that Otohime spoke of a man who will guide Poseidon, and Luffy somewhat did this thing to Momonosuke, advising him to command Zunisha, since he is the only one capable of doing so. In this point I want to make clear as a Greek that there is a mistake in most of the fans' minds about the three ancient weapons. It is true that in Greek mythological creation there was Uranus. Depending on the source, it is said that Uranus was either the son of Gaia and Eros, in English Earth and Love, or the husband of Gaia. Independent of the source, they all agree that Uranus was the father of the Titans, the Cyclops, the Hundred Arms, the Erinyes. I don't even know if there is an English word for them. Anyway, however, the other two ancient weapons are called Poseidon and Pluton. These two names comes from the Olympian gods, Poseidon, who ruled the kingdom of the seas, and Pluton, the Roman name of god Hades, who ruled the kingdom of the underworld. However, both of them were the brothers of the Olympian god, ruler of the Sky Kingdom and leader of the gods, Zeus. Zeus as a word may say nothing to you. However, another name for Zeus was Uranus. All these years I was thinking, why would Oda only choose three gods? And how could the ancient kingdom, if they had these three weapons in their possession, lose? And how come they lost not only with those three weapons, but with other powerful kingdoms affiliated to them? The easy hypothesis here is betrayal, but that is not the solution to the mystery. It is known that the ancient kingdom lost, but why is it that Joy Boy sent a letter of apology to the fishman? But because he broke his promise. Yes, I know that, but that is not the point either. If we look behind the words, we get a hint about the war. Joy Boy apologized for breaking his promise means that Fishman did not participate in that war, apologizing because he could not accomplish his goal and fulfill his promise. And this was not the only island that shared this fate. In Wano flashback, Oden states the Wano Island was once open, but his ancestors closed the borders in order to avoid a gigantic war. And if we go back once more, the Sea Kings in Oden flashback said about the two kings that will be born, and we know that their king is Poseidon, who comes from the royal family, the Mermaid Princess. And who wanted to guide the former Mermaid Princess? Joy Boy. From what we know, Pluton is a massive warship, and Poseidon the Mermaid Princess, which makes absolute sense. The Joy Boy is the second king, and the final ancient weapon Uranus. At least was, since he's not living, but you get my point. But that gives birth to a number of other questions. If these two were the two kings, then what is that ability of Momonosuke? Could Momonosuke be Uranus perhaps? As stated before, Momonosuke does not fit in the timeline created by the Sea Kings, as he is originally 28 years old and was already born by that time. But not only that, Joy Boy was the king at his time of the Ancient Kingdom, at least this is what Oda has hinted, which means that the king should come from the Ancient Kingdom, while Momonosuke is a Kozuki. The similarity though exists. The Sea Kings, after witnessing Luffy destroying the Noah, wondered if that people will be able to build it again. Noah was originally the ship promised that would carry the fishmen to the surface, and the Ming tribe lives on top a giant ancient elephant doomed to walk for all eternity until the time comes. So, in both situations we have a non-human race and a wagon along with a strange ability. Now, if we question again, what if Momo is Uranus? Then I would also ask again, since it is obvious that Luffy is like the reincarnation of Joy Boy, then exactly how will he be able to guide Poseidon and Momonosuke? As I have already said enough times, Momonosuke's ability is something else, and Luffy is Uranus, who, as in mythology, stands above the other gods. If we now go deeper, we see a strange pattern. The poneglyph of Sky Island pointed the location of Poseidon. Skypiea was originally part of Jaya in Grand Line, and Arabasta's poneglyph the location of Pluton, which is also part of Grand Line, and Water 7 was the island in which Pluton was built and where the blueprints were held in secret, which is also in Grand Line. My question here is about Pluton. If the Ancient Kingdom is the last island of the New World and had in its possession the three ancient weapons, how exactly had Pluton if it was built in Water 7? I remind you that both Frankie and Iceberg, when first saw the blueprints, wondered how such a ship could be built. So, could this unimaginable ship get coated and travel to the New World through Fishman Island? Because from what we know, there is no other way. So I say that at the time, Ancient Kingdom didn't have Pluton either. And I don't mean that Pluton was not built, I mean that Pluton didn't take part in the Ancient War. Pluton existed, but was not used. If we travel to Reverie Arc, we see a really strange image. At the round table, we see only humans and Neptune, absolutely commonly imaginable human forms. No long arm, no long leg, no giant, no nothing. Only humans and Neptune. So, if we go back once more, could Zunisha be the carrier of the Minks like Noah? Could they have had started their journey to Joy Boy's promised land? Could it be that Zunisha's ancient sin is that she didn't follow the commands? To even further the similarities between the two, Zunisha has a strange giant whale tree on her back. Could it be a hint / a resemblance of Oda with the fishmen? And here comes another Oden flashback. Oden in his boiling pot told the scabbards that not only Wano but the whole world is waiting for a certain individual on the letter he left to Toki, and as also stated by Yamato, a gigantic war will break in 20 years and the protagonists will arise in the new world. As stated by Whitebird himself upon dying, Blackbird is not the man Roger is waiting, and that the world government fear the day of a great war that is coming, engulfing the entire world. Important here is that when Whitebird said that the man was not Blackbird, Oda drew Luffy's face next to the phrase, "Those who carry Roger's will." At this point of time, we all thought that it was because Luffy is our protagonist and a D. But after all these years and all the flashbacks and hints and information, it's becoming more and more clear that Luffy is none other than the man who inherited the will of his direct descendant Monkey D. Joy Boy, the promised king who will guide the world into its new dawn, bearing 800 years of history and tragedy in his back, the man that Roger awaits. To be continued in Part 2, Momonosuke, Kozuki family, Blackbird and Pluton. Don't forget to let me know your thoughts on the comment section below, and if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more One Piece videos.